My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. I'm very, very, very proud of President Donald Trump. He's doing something that Hillary Clinton would never, ever have done because Max Boot and Bill Kristol and neoconservatives would not allow that to happen. Hillary Clinton voted for the Iraq War. If you don't know what I'm getting to, hit subscribe right now. I've been so focused on Clinton corruption with Clinton Foundation and Clinton email server, transferring top secret intelligence from Cybernet, JWICs, and SCIFs, then arguing with people who want the same goals as I do, trying to enlighten them, trying to explain that, hey, some certain things aren't happening. Try to just focus on the public record. Anyway, this is something that everyone, all Trump supporters, all conservatives, all independents, all progressives who are anti-war, all Democrats who are anti-war, it really doesn't matter who you are. Trump administration plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria immediately. God bless President Trump. This is exactly why I am voting for him in 2020. This is exactly why I went from Bernie Sanders to Donald Trump. When people say, there's one guy on YouTube, nobody really knows who he is, but he's like, "I take it, man, as a lunatic. Oh, I love Samsara and David Puckman. I love them so much." When this guy's like, "This is so intellectually inconsistent from H.A. Goodman." No, it is very consistent. Rand Paul, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren back in the day when she didn't stab Bernie in the back. Bernie Sanders back in the day when he didn't stab everyone in the back regarding campaign for a neoconservative foreign policy and Hillary Clinton. The point is, what Trump was able to do is something that, well, I'll just read it right now. I'm going on and on. I'm so happy right now, I can't tell you. Now, does this mean that this validates everything that I've been saying about President Trump? Peace between North and South Korea. And Washington Post, Trump administration plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria immediately. Defense officials say the Trump administration has decided to pull all U.S. troops out of Syria. A defense official said, this is something that is a landmark, groundbreaking thing. I will debate anyone on why President Trump is infinitely better than than Obama or Clinton. Open challenge to Sam Cedar, to David Pakman, to Kyle Kulinski, to anyone. They'd never debate me because President Donald Trump is actually doing what the Democrats or what the anti-war left, which is not, there is no anti-war left. There's a zero anti-war left. There's an anti-Israel left. But there's a zero anti-war left, because if there was, they'd say that President Trump is doing an amazing thing. They would say that President Trump is presiding over peace between North and South Korea. The beginning of peace is a fantastic thing. This, ladies and gentlemen, validates everything that I've been saying regarding President Trump. The Trump administration has decided to pull all U.S. troops out of Syria, defense officials said on Wednesday. The official who spoke on condition, discussed the decision has not yet been announced. President Trump has long promised to conclude the campaign and has questioned the value of costly and dangerous military missions overseas. This is why I greatly respect Trump. I'm voting for him in 2020. This is why I urge everyone to vote for him in 2020. You're not going to get this from the Democrats, ladies and gentlemen. I still have progressives who watch me, and I love you. You're not going to get this. You're not going to get Medicare for all, and you certainly won't get this type of foreign policy. He's pulling soldiers from Syria. Hillary Clinton we would be patrolling Damascus now. It would have been already a failed intervention because of people like Max Boot and Bill Kristol, and the people who love the Weekly Standard, which no longer exists now, or will be no longer in existence. The decision comes as tensions increase with NATO ally Turkey, which has promised to launch a military offensive. Okay, so this is a great thing. He's pulling out of Syria. Obama got us into Syria. Now, I want us out of Yemen also. Guess who got us in there? Oh, Obama. This is absolutely U.S. military preparing a full withdrawal of its forces from Syria. God bless President Trump. And if you are too filled with hate, if you are too filled with malice, if you are too filled with just this insidious tribalistic mentality that, oh, we have to hurt Trump no matter what. He did something. If you're the anti-war, anarchist, socialist left that calls everyone Nazi, even Jewish people like me, even Jewish people, the anti-war, socialist, anarchist, many of them calling everyone Nazi, they're too stupid to realize the irony in calling a Jew a Nazi sympathizer because they retweet a conservative pundit. They're too stupid and brainwashed to realize how absurd that is. The irony in that. But let's just say, if you're this person with a rose or a black flag or whatever the sign is, this is a great thing that Trump is doing. Can you not even admit that? On Twitter, can you not just say, yeah, I hate Trump, he's a really bad person, but at least he did this? U.S. military preparing a full withdrawal of its forces from Syria. I wrote against this in The Hill. I will put the Hill article that I wrote. I will put the Hill article I wrote. Putting troops in Syria will lead to another devastating counterinsurgency war. H.A. Goodman, November 13th, 2015. I was a contributor to The Hill until possibly, I cannot be certain, but some liberal editors said, oh, stop publishing this guy. Oh, I don't know. I can't be certain of that. One liberal editor or whatever who didn't like me saying that Clinton would lose the election, which she did. I will put this, putting U.S. troops in Syria will lead to another devastating counterinsurgency war. I warned about this in The Hill. I will put this below in the pinned comment. I also have an article in the Roanoke Times. ISIS isn't worth another counterinsurgency war. U.S. military preparing for a full withdrawal of its forces from Syria. This is exactly what I was talking about in terms of foreign policy. Thank God Trump won the election. Thank God Trump won the election. U.S. administration plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria immediately. You would never have gotten this, with all due respect to the wonderful people who want to fight the oligarchy and fight and talk about how horrible Israel is, and that's your vantage point, that's your viewpoint on the left, which I'd easily destroy in any debate. Nobody would ever want to debate me on that. You don't have the courage or the character to admit, most likely you don't. And I'm speaking to everybody on the left who thinks that Trump is this racist ogre monster, while Hillary Clinton not only voted for Iraq, would have urged regime change and intervention. We'd be in Damascus now patrolling just like we are in Afghanistan and Iraq. Don't have the guts to say he did a great thing in pulling soldiers, American troops out. Trump administration plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria immediately. Trump full withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. U.S. Ways, Reuters, U.S. Ways complete withdrawal of troops from Syria. We should never have been there to begin with. We should never have been there. And President Obama and Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State presided over chaos, mayhem. Not just in that region, but throughout. Libya is one example. Tell me a country that's better off because of Obama in the Middle East. And you focus your life around tiki torches. Meanwhile, there's actual slavery because of Obama in Libya, because of his failed intervention, because the wonderful people who are now part of the Democratic tent, the Max Boots of the world, the Bill Kristols of the world, the Robert Kagans of the world, the people who are neoconservative philosophers. There's one of the links between Bernie and Trump. So many people, good people and then brainwashed people, have said, how can you go from Bernie to Trump? Oh, how can you go from Bernie to Trump? From Bernie to Trump, because Medicare for All is not the only thing he ran on. And it's not even gonna, you think they're gonna have a Medicare for All bill? No, wrong. Pelosi said no. No means no, that's it. This is why I left the left. This is why I'm no longer a progressive. Because they're sold a bunch of nonsense, and they eat it up, and they love it, and they work essentially for Hillary Clinton. All those wonderful pundits that you think, oh, open debate to Cenk Uygur on this. Whatever. It's easily. There's no way to say that he did something wrong with this, Trump. There's no way to say that Obama's foreign policy was better than Trump. Look what's taking place. Peace between North and South Korea, and pulling American soldiers from a region, from a country they should never have been in to begin with Russian jets flying above. And the genius Hillary Clinton was like, we need a no-fly zone. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. How are you going to enforce a no-fly zone? What, you want like a remake of Top Gun? With in real life? The insurgents don't have an air force, dummy. You'd be battling Russian jets. MiGs, you'd be battling Russian jets. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. President Trump is presiding over a monumental reversal of foreign policy. Foreign policy that started with George W. Bush, that continued with President Obama. Doesn't matter what you think of Trump's personality. What he did is epic, grandiose, should be rewarded with praise, especially from the left. Washington Post, Trump administration plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria. Wall Street Journal, U.S. military preparing full withdrawal of its forces from Syria. U.S. preparing full withdrawal from Syria. The Trump administration is preparing a rapid withdrawal of thousands of American troops in Syria. $500 million, by the way, was spent by President Obama to train rebels. I think like less than 10. Gee, I wonder if that money wasn't laundered. Obama's foreign policy was almost as bad as Bush's. And I say almost as bad because George W. Bush is the worst president we've ever had in the history of this nation. And Obama will not be considered one of the best. And President Obama, not only will he not be considered one of the best, he'll be considered alongside George W. Bush when it's all said and done. And you look at Obama's track record. Destroying Libya. BuzzFeed News did a report the other day on slavery in Libya. Why do you think there wasn't slavery in Libya when Gaddafi was there? I'm not defending Gaddafi, just like I'm not defending Saddam. But you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of these military interventions? Who is going to bring our soldiers home? And who is going to send our soldiers abroad into these quagmires and civil wars where you have no idea who the enemy is? Remakes of Vietnam. And I know, and I'm honored to have veterans who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan who watch this channel, active duty soldiers who watch this channel, and God bless you. What has driven me is not actually Clinton indictments. That's just something that gotten under my skin from day one. What has driven me from day one is to ensure that our soldiers are not sent into quagmires, civil wars, counterinsurgency wars like Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And I've written a great deal about that in The Hill, the Roanoke Times, the Jerusalem Post. And I'm very, 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 very happy, and I'm very appreciative that President Trump did what he's doing now. I think that his foreign policy, thank God, is infinitely better than Hillary Clinton's would have been. Already a lot better. Already a lot better than Obama's foreign policy. It's just, I mean, my God, it's unbelievable. Trump to order total withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria. Wow. Trump plans to pull U.S. troops from Syria immediately. This is groundbreaking news, ladies and gentlemen. This is more important than anything I've been speaking about. You know, I don't usually talk about many topics. I mean, I don't usually talk about the foreign policy of President Trump, but I always say that, you know what, peace between North and South Korea is a very, very amazing, groundbreaking, paradigm-changing thing that we should all be happy about, that we should be discussing and addressing. And this doesn't happen with Hillary Clinton. This has vindicated everything. Look, whatever. I mean, it's all politics. It's like a phony version of Hollywood, which is a phony version of life. But I went out on a limb, and when I was going up against Democrats, they wrote hit pieces on me. They spewed all the hate they could. I didn't care. I didn't care. I had people, journalists, trying to mock me. At the end, they just pivoted and said, oh, Russia, Russia. I was right when I was on the left about Clinton losing and about Clinton's foreign policy, and I'm vindicated right now. It's not about me, obviously. I'm not saying it's about me. But I'm vindicated when people are like, oh, it's a good man. You know who I'm talking about. The guy's hilarious. I challenged him to a debate, whatever. He definitely wants no piece of that. But he's like, this guy's a lunatic. It's a lunatic. Pretty much, you know, how he talks. But he's a crazy person. Like, no, not a lunatic. I don't want soldiers in quagmires and counterinsurgency wars. I don't want them. I don't want regime changes. That's why when I debated Ben Dixon on this channel, he was like, oh, you can't you can't align yourself with people who are on the right. Like, no, you don't have to align or unite or do anything. You can work or agree with people who are conservative, who are anti-war, and this is anti-war. Pulling soldiers out of Syria is an anti-war stance. It is the furthest left stance you could get, theoretically. It is something that Democrat Hillary Clinton, who all the social justice warriors and they all vote for the neocon. Isn't that interesting? And then when she says, oh yeah, all black people look alike, no one says anything. When she calls black youth super predators, nobody says anything. Oh, well, yeah, I say things. No, yeah. People say, and then they just funnel all the outrage back to Clinton. And then Trump is the racist ogre, but guess what? This alone is something that can solidify 2020 victory. This is a lot more important than Clinton indictments. Now, you better probably never thought I would say anything's more important than Clinton getting indicted, but this is infinitely more important because if it can save one American life and one Syrian life also, obviously, but if it can save the life of a soldier, an American soldier, if it could prevent us from getting into yet another Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, then this is infinitely more important. And everything I said about Trump's foreign policy is coming true. And everything I said about Clinton's foreign policy is vindicated. If you're on the left today, you should thank your lucky stars. You probably don't believe in God, you might, but if you do believe in God, thank God. If you're an atheist, just say, you know what, thank you, Trump. How about you thank Trump, people on the left, huh? How about you thank Trump for pulling Americans out? Oh, no, I'm not going to thank him because he did this and this and that. Well, you voted for Obama, didn't you? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Well, whatever. He did a good thing. Give him props, give him respect, say that he did a good thing at least. President Trump is infinitely better than President Obama. If anything, because of the beginning of peace between North and South Korea, and now this. Yet another mistake rectified by President Trump. Yet another Obama failure rectified by President Trump. Hillary Clinton wanted to ring China with missile defense. This was her fantastic way of dealing with North Korea. Hit subscribe right now. That whole the Clinton indictments and whatever, the Clinton corruption. That's like nothing compared to the grandiose, the paradigm changing, the sea change, just the amazing thing that Trump is presiding over right now. God bless President Trump. He is an infinitely better president than Bush, obviously, and than Obama. And he is fixing another Obama mistake or failure, which is President Obama was the first to send soldiers into that country. Trump is bringing soldiers back. Give me your thoughts below. He's bringing our soldiers home. Thank you so very, very much. This is a great, 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 great news report. Thank you.